Hey guys, Micah here from the CCL. I want to talk to you about 4 types of church events. Now, when I say church events, I'm not talking about Sunday morning. I'm talking about everything that's not your Sunday morning worship service. If you've been a part of a church for a long time, you know nothing church people like more than going to groups and seminars and classes and things like that. Well, here's a way to think about that. Here's a simple construct for that might be helpful, and it's in the form of a 2-axis chart, because people who know me know that I just love 2-axis charts. Can't get enough of them. So if you think about an axis for duration, aka time, how long does this thing take, where it's high and low. And then if you think about interaction, again, high and low, then here's how that shakes out. If you have something that's really high interaction but low duration, something that's interactive but short, that is a workshop. If you have something that's low interaction and low duration, that's a seminar. Something that's a high duration but low interaction is a class. Something that's high interaction and high duration is a group. Okay? So, if it takes a while and you do a lot of interacting, it's a group. If it takes a while and it doesn't do a lot of interacting, it's a class. If it's short and not interactive, then it's a seminar. And if it's short and interactive, it's a workshop. That's the whole construct. That's easy. Let's talk quickly about why you might want each of these things, right? And also let's think about how different types of trainings or teachings or events or whatever would work in different formats. So if you're maybe a discipleship minister at a church, a lot of times you think everything in terms of group, right? Oh, groups are great. Groups are what causes life change. We want people to be in groups. And I'm pro-group in every way that you can be pro-group, right? A lot of successful curricula is developed as a group curricula, and I'm for that. But the duration also means sometimes you lose people that are not able to be in something for a long time or won't commit to something for a long time. Sometimes it's easier to try something if it's like, hey, this is a one-time thing, or a Friday and Saturday or something like that. In that case, you might be better off going with a workshop or a seminar. In a seminar, you're going to have an info dump. In a workshop, the idea is it's more interactive. You can workshop things together. Hey, we're going to give you some information. We're going to try this out. If you're doing an evangelism seminar, that's a different thing than an evangelism workshop, which is a different thing than like a personal evangelism class, which is, again, a different thing than an evangelism group. You see how that might work. Or if you're talking about apologetics, right? An apologetics seminar is going to be an info dump. Boom, here you go. An apologetics workshop is going to say, hey, here's some information, but also we're going to work through some of those things. An apologetics class is going to be this but longer, right? We're going to cover more material. We're going to cover it more in depth. An apologetics group, I know a couple groups that have run that are like this, but this would be, more rare in that case. Generally speaking, more is better, i.e., more interaction and more duration is going to lead to a better long-term outcome, right? So if we're talking about changing people's long-term behavior, duration is important. And if we're talking about getting it deep into them, interaction is important. And so generally speaking, we want to skew this way. However, that doesn't mean that there's not a place at your church for all of these things if you're doing these types of events at all. One of the nice things about this stuff on this side is that it's less likely to interfere with other important things that are happening at your church, right? So if you have a Sunday morning seminar that's a one-off, then you can then you can figure out a way to have people, maybe miss their serving role for one time. But if you have a Sunday morning class that's going to run for the next 6 months, then it's like, oh, if people are going to do that, they might have to check out of a serving role that they're in, right? If you have a Tuesday night workshop, then, hey, maybe as a one-time thing, that could work. And if I miss my regular small group, that's okay. Or maybe my whole small group comes. But if you try and make that into a long-term thing, then people have to start making decisions. So these are easier to get into. These are less threatening. But in the long term, going in this direction is what's going to give you better life change results. All that in my opinion, but I think that's a helpful construct for me, and I hope it's a helpful one for you. Thanks. Bye.